Welcome to another emergency edition of the Ontario Family Law Podcast. Well, holidays are often a difficult time for separated families, but especially for the children, the holidays in 2020 pose unique challenges with COVID-19, public health considerations, public health orders, some of the province already in lockdown and other parts about to be in lockdown. I am hearing from separated parents that they don't know what to do. Fortunately, Ontario Family Law has provided some clear guidance. I will go over that in this edition of the podcast. I'm John Schumann, a certified specialist in family law in Ontario. I'm also a mediator, arbitrator, and collaborative lawyer. This podcast is a companion to my book, Guide to the Basics of Ontario Family Law, which is available in the iBookstore, Amazon, Kobo, and in fine bookstores. I need to start by pointing out that COVID-19 and the lockdown or looming lockdown has had a profound effect on the mental health of children. Many of them are feeling very cut off and lonely. Children are experiencing unhealthy levels of stress about when they will see their friends, when they will go back to school, and when they will be safe. Ontario's children's hospitals and pediatricians have expressed great worry about the impact of the current situation on children's mental health and development. Make no mistake, our children are suffering. All parents, separated or not, must do what they can to protect their children during these holidays. Parents must not add more suffering onto their kids. When it comes to the holidays, the first and most important consideration is that these are special times for the children too. Often they're even more special for the children than for the adults. The children do not want to spend these special times marked by fights amongst their parents. That can ruin the entire holiday season for the child. Parents who love and want to protect their children must avoid fights over the children during the pandemic and especially during the holidays. In previous episodes, I went over the best things separated parents can do with respect to sharing parenting time with their children over the holidays. With the exception of the considerations regarding travel, which is either not permitted or ill-advised right now, the same considerations apply. In another episode, I also explained what judges expect of parents during COVID-19. Those expectations do not contradict the rules for holidays, so parents need to follow the advice in both those episodes. I have put links at the top of the page to those episodes. Check them out for complete explanations. I will just briefly summarize what family law says parents should do during the holidays during the pandemic. What is best for the children during these holidays and lockdowns remains the focus of the courts and should be the focus of every separated parent. Every family court judge who is faced making a decision about parenting has commented about how the pandemic represents extraordinary times. It is an event that is having a profound impact on children, even children who are not in the midst of parental conflict. I noted previously that Justice McGee said that even young children will carry the residual emotions into adulthood, at which time the children will reflect back on whether their parents eased their fear of disruption or whether their parents were focused on their own needs. How parents work out parenting issues during the holiday period not only sets an example for their children, but can affect their children's development. Many parents have questioned whether children should be traveling between homes during the pandemic. The court has made it very clear that it is essential for children to have a relationship with both parents during the pandemic. The current view of parenting professionals and judges is that having contact with both parents is important to a child's sense of well-being and healthy development. This means that seeing both parents is also in the child's best interest. So judges feel that seeing both parents is essential in the same way that going to get groceries or medication is essential. There is some risk in all of these things, but everyone has to do what is necessary to minimize the risk when completing essential tasks. Judges have specifically held that they expect parents to find ways for the children to move between homes and spend time with both parents in a safe way. Only actual evidence, not speculation that a parent is putting children at actual risk of harm, will cause a judge to restrict parenting. It is common for parents to distrust each other after separation. It is a natural emotion. Of course, children often suffer when they see their parents being hostile or distrustful for each other. There are medical studies that show that children that are exposed to that type of conflict suffer brain damage. So though it can be really difficult, parents really need to step back and carefully think about whether they have actual evidence that the other parent will be putting the child at risk, or whether they are just being distrustful or assuming that their spouse's bad behavior in other areas will extend to their decisions about parenting. Almost no parenting deliberately causes their children harm. Sometimes they don't make the best choices, but there's a difference between doing that and actually putting children at risk. So before any parent restricts their child's contact with another parent, they need to look at their evidence. A judge will look harshly upon any parent that acted on emotion rather than evidence. To go over some of the other general rules that judges apply, which I covered more fully in the Sharing the Children During the Holidays episode. 1. Children should rotate where they wake up on Christmas or other holiday mornings, or with whom they spend special events. Children should get the opportunity to spend that time with each parent. So if they spent Christmas morning with one parent last year, they should wake up with the other parent this year. But keep in mind that for really young children, the fight may not be worth it. They may not know what day it is, so it may be possible to create a special time on any day. The public health restrictions have interfered with Christmas traditions. There will be no Christmas gatherings this year, so that should give an extra amount of flexibility, as no one will be missing the usual Christmas family celebration. It just won't be happening. While that gives some flexibility, with so much change, keeping things the same for the kids may really benefit them. So do not make changes this year just for making changes' sake. 3. Holiday time is usually shared equally when possible. With almost everyone at home after Boxing Day, that should be made possible this year. To make it possible to share the period between Christmas Eve and Boxing Day equally, and then share the rest of the time until the children go back to school equally, and perhaps even share helping with the remote learning equally. When setting the schedule, keep in mind minimizing travel that can expose the children to the virus. But also keep in mind that children younger than school age should not spend too long away from either parent. 4. Trying to give bigger or better presents than the other parent teaches the children to be manipulative. The children will play one parent against the other for the better gift when they know that their parents will fall for it. 5. Just because you are angry or emotional about the holidays after your separation does not mean your children are feeling the same way. Although it can be hard, parents should try to make the holidays a happy time for their children. The separation was not the children's fault, so they have no reason to feel angry or guilty. Trashing the other parent around the holiday table or at any other time the children are present is never okay. Family court judges say that is bad parenting and even a reason to change custody or the parenting schedule. During the pandemic, things become much more difficult when one parent decides that he or she does not want to follow the advice of public health officials, or when a parent insists on engaging in other risk behavior at this unusual time. Chances are that if a parent is going to engage in risky behavior now, they probably engaged in it before, and the parenting arrangements already take that into account. If the existing arrangements do take that type of behavior into account, then it is not necessary to make further changes in the holiday schedule. However, if a parent is insisting on doing things with the children that are clearly not in the children's best interest in light of the advice and information from our public health officials, then changes may be necessary. The Ontario courts have supported the directions from public health officials. If a parent is going to disregard those directions, putting a child at risk, the family court will intervene. But what most kids of separated parents want during the holiday is to be free from experiencing their parents fighting. Parents must put their children first, realizing that children need both parents, and that COVID-19 means that everyone has to be careful about making that happen. If you cannot get matters sorted out before the holidays or in the family courts, then it is much better to take the high road and save your children from the fight. Later on, a judge, arbitrator, parenting coordinator will probably appreciate the sacrifice you made. That sacrifice will benefit you as a parent in the long run. Your children need you to love and protect them more on these holidays than ever before, so make sure you do so. If you need some more general help or family law help or guidance, or to understand family law better to make better parenting decisions, or you need to know how best to look after your kids after separation and divorce, or if you need some tips for how to make Ontario family law work best for you, get a copy of my book, Guide to the Basics of Ontario Family Law. You can access it immediately on the iBook store on Amazon for the Kindle version, or you can download it for Kobo. Amazon can deliver the paperback version directly to your doorstep. You can also get a lot more Ontario family law information on www.schumannlaw.ca. Not only are there hundreds of pages of family law information and links, but there are links where to get my book and links to reach my office to meet with either me or one of my colleagues. Because it's always best to get a lawyer who can give you advice that is specific to your situation. In addition to my website, keep up to date on family and children's law issues by liking my Facebook page, following me on Twitter at @HumanFamLaw, and finding me on LinkedIn. Of course, please also subscribe to my YouTube channel and get the audio versions of the Ontario Family Law Podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud or at www.humanlaw.ca. If you found this episode helpful, please like it, as that will get it out to more people to help them. Also, hit the bell so you can get the next episode as soon as it comes out. Thanks for participating in this podcast. We will get together again soon.